Welcome everyone to a brief session on how to talk about your involvement in leadership positions on your resume. We're going to take some time today to first explain why it's important and valuable to share your outside the classroom involvement when searching for a job or internship, and then give you some tips on how to identify your skills as a leader. We're then going to close out by talking about what to do if you don't think you have the skills that you need. So let's jump in. So why is this important? Why is this even a thing? Why would I need to talk about my involvement on my resumes or interviews? So a lot of times your degree provides you with technical skills. What employers are most often looking for are people skills. Sometimes people refer to these as soft skills versus hard skills, but we like the technical versus people language better. Both are important for sure. But what many employers are saying is that it is super hard to teach people skills. It is less difficult to teach technical skills. And we know that involvement outside the classroom supports people skill development, which is why putting those skills and those things on your resume can be so valuable. But what's the difference between technical and people skills? Here are some examples. Technical skills, things like database management, programming languages, statistical analysis. Can you speak multiple languages? Marketing skills, particularly. And there are also some people skills, right? Problem solving, teamwork, empathy, critical thinking, effective communication, things that are a little bit less easy to describe or to put a specific characteristic or yes or no answer to. Technical skills are ones, like I said before, that are generally more teachable. These are things you may be able to learn in your classes based on your major. An engineering student learning to build a model, a computer science major learning a coding language, a public policy major learning to speak a second language. Employers argue that sometimes it's actually easier for them to teach these things than to have people come in with some of that knowledge. That way, employees learn the company way instead of having to unlearn and relearn. But people skills, problem solving, teamwork, etc., these are things that are pretty tough to teach. They're things you gain from experiences working with others or leading in organizations. Employers don't have time to teach you these things, but your involvement outside the classroom provides you laboratories to explore and gain these skills. So we're next going to talk a little bit about how to explore those things for yourself. So how do you identify these skills? Hopefully you know and now believe that these skills are important to talk about, but how do you even identify them for you? So the first step is really to make a big list of the things you're involved in at Duke. Include in there leadership roles you've taken, projects you've been a part of, achievements or awards you've received from various places. Then think about, are there themes? For example, does it seem like a lot of the things you're involved in, you take on roles dealing with the finances of an organization? Of course, you're learning technical skills there, budget management, contracts, and others, but you're also learning people skills, ethical decision making. How should we be spending our money responsibly? Confrontation skills. Have people not paid money that they owe? Strategic planning. Can we make projections for next year and budget based on our interests at hand? These are all skills that are way more difficult to teach than how to balance a budget. Excel can do that part for you. The other thing that you should do is ask people. Talk to your peers, talk to your professors or advisors. What are skills that they see in you that you should be highlighting? Sometimes we have blind spots that don't allow us to be kind to ourselves about our strengths. How do they see our strengths playing out in different spaces? That's valuable for a resume, but also an eventual interview too. You should also consider asking professionals in your field of interest. What are skills they think you should have? What have they been most frustrated by with new employees? If you feel like you have some of those things, those would be especially good to highlight. So then you actually have to put it on your resume. There are a couple steps that we'd recommend as to how to do that, right? So the first is to review the job description and research the company. Make a list of the, look at the values and the mission of the organization, read articles about their decision making, talk to people that you may know who work for that particular organization. Once you've done that, make a big list of the skills that it looks like they're looking for. Are there skills that are just straight up listed on the job description? Great. Are there publicly displayed organizational values? Even better. Those are all good places to start when making a big list of skills that they would want in a candidate. Then you want to map your involvement and skills to that big list. This could be done in two ways. You could make a big list of your involvement and skills and then code them to the skills that they list. I'd probably use multiple highlighter colors, or the opposite way. Look at the big list of skills they want and brainstorm how you've met those through different involvement activities. Either way, you end up with a list of your involvement that matches the skills that they're looking for. You then have to put this all into a resume format. I'm partial to a functional resume where you list your involvement activities with some bullets under each, many of which should map to the skills that they're looking for. You can also build a resume that's structured by skill, so the header may instead be problem solving, and then you list examples of spaces you've gained that skill. I lean towards the functional resume just because it's a little bit more integrated and doesn't require them to think of your involvement in any particular way. They get to sort of interpret what they see. But some people prefer leaving no space for interpretation, but either works. Final tip, build an enormous master resume that stays up to date. As you get involved in something else, get elected to a new position, earn an award, add it to that big resume. Then when you're trying to build a resume for a specific position, you can just pull straight from that to build a specialized resume for the role based on the skills that they're looking for. And you don't even have to remember what you did freshman year. So some of you may be asking, what if I don't have the experiences yet? That's okay too. There are ways to strategically think now about how to gain skills that you find necessary for a position or an internship that you may want. The first is to think about those jobs or internships that you want and look at those descriptions. Can you identify skill themes on those descriptions that you think you should be gaining? Similar to when you're building a resume prior, you want to make a big list of those. Then think about what involvement may get you there. Are a number of the skills you need related to effective communication? Then maybe you're looking to take on positions in organizations that allows you to be in charge of the communication and marketing of a big team. Or maybe you're working with an organization that has a lot of collaborations or partnerships with diverse stakeholders. So you develop skills in working and communicating with people who are different than you. If you need a place to start, check out the organizations and Duke groups if you don't think you're involved in enough quite yet. And then of course, ask people. Use your Duke network to talk to peers, staff and faculty, alumni, professors about what skills you're looking to gain and get some advice on places to gain them. It's as simple as just saying, I'm interested in pursuing an opportunity in the federal government, and I know I need to gain a skill set in problem solving. Do you have an idea as to where I should look to gain those skills? And don't sweat it. If you don't have all the skills you want yet, know that no one does. And we can always keep learning. So figure out what you do have, what you can highlight, and work on strengthening those while developing other skills. So hopefully you've pulled some good information from this. We believe that involvement outside the classroom is critical to success beyond Duke, and we want to make sure that we help you figure out how to talk about it. If you need assistance or have further questions, feel free to reach out to us. Our email address and website are listed here. We promise that it's us that get these emails, not a robot. So if you email our general email, we'll get the best person on our team to reply. And of course, we'd also encourage you to connect to the Career Center. They are experts on campus in resumes, cover letters, the job search process. So we've included their information as well. Thanks for your time, and let us know if we can be helpful in the future.